Hello, future engineers, subscribers, viewers, and students. Here is another video, supposedly part of the face-to-face discussion in statics. And my students should watch this video or else I assume that they're already prepared for the first quiz. This is part of the first quiz. So the shear leg derrick is used to haul the 200 kilogram net of fish onto the dock. Determine the compressive force along each of the legs A, B, and CD, and the tension in the winch DD. Assume the force in each leg acts along its axis. So these forces are two force bodies. So it's either tension or compression. And although it is stated in the problem that these two legs are in compression and this cable is in tension, you should learn in the future or even in this problem here that the effect of this 200 kilogram mass times 9.81, so 1962 newtons weight, will cause these two legs to be in compression and this one in tension. So because the effect of this is to push this point B downward, so the reaction of AB and AC would be upward to counter that. And since this has no Y component or component of the force along the Y-axis, so these two, if these are in compression, after I stated that the effect of this weight should be downward, so the effect of these two legs should be to counter that downward force, so upward. So that's why this should be in compression. So if these are obviously in upward direction, these are up to the right. So since this has no component along the y-axis, left or rightward movement, then it is BD, that is the force that will counter the rightward components of these two forces if they are in compression. So this must be in tension because it should be the component of the force should be leftward because these two are in rightward direction. So that's it. But I suggest that for forces in equilibrium and they are concurrent forces, we assume that all forces are in tension. If the resulting sign would be negative, it is understood that they are in compression. So that's my suggestion and that's what I present here. So I assume that all forces will be in tension. Of course, the weight is downward, of course. For these forces to be determined, so let's assume tension. Remember, tension forces are represented by arrows that is away from the point of application. So that's why we have tension B to A, from B to A, so away from B, then tension BC away from B, tension BD away from B. So that means I assume that all these forces are in tension. So because these are expected in compression, BA and BC, you will notice in our solution that the signs of the magnitudes of these forces will be negative. So summation forces x 0. So the x-axis is forward axis. So that, by the way, the weight is 1962 newtons, and in vector form it is negative 1962 k. It is towards the negative z direction. So negative 1962 kN. FBD, it is down to the left. Down is negative along Z, 4. Along Z, negative 4. Then along Y, negative also. So this is 4 meters, that one, 4, then plus 5.6, so 9.6 leftward, or negative 9.6 J ng Y. So over square root of 9.6 square plus 4 square, so in vector form, FBD is negative 0.9231 J minus 0.3846 K newtons. Then FBA is equal to, so BA is directed down to the left, then forward. So forward along X, positive 2. Along Y, because it's leftward, negative 4J. Then along Z, downward, negative 4K. So therefore, FBA is magnitude of the force FBA, quantity along X. So 2, so 2I, negative 4J, then negative 4K over square root of quantity 2 square plus 4 square plus 4 square, simplifying. FBA is I over 3 minus 2J over 3 minus 2K over 3. So that is FBA. Then we may factor out 3 to simplify it further. So FBA over 3, quantity I minus 2J minus 2K. Then FBC is down along Z, so negative 4K. Along Y to the left, negative 4, so negative 4J. Along X, backward 2, so negative 2I. So FBC is quantity negative 2I minus 4J minus 4K all over 6, because this is 6, square root of 36 is 6. So simplifying, FBC over 3, FBC in vector form is magnitude of FBC over 3, quantity negative I minus 2J minus 2K. Then we now apply equations of equilibrium. Summation forces X equals 0. So FBA over 3. Then for FBC, FBD has no X component. FBC, we have negative FBC over 3. Then equals 0, so that means FBA equals FBC. If you look at the configuration, it's anticipated that FBA equals FBC by symmetry, because the weight and the tension FBD lie on YZ plane. Only FBA and FBC will have X component, while FBD and the weight have no X component, and they are equally distant from the YZ plane. So that's why they are equal. Then summation forces along Z equals 0, this one, this Z axis here. So for the weight, negative 1962. For FBD, it's negative 0.3846 FBD. For FBA, it's negative 2/3 FBA. For FBC, it's also negative 2/3 FBC. And take note that FBA equals FBC. We can combine this into negative 4/3 FBA or negative 4/3 FBC. So I'll just choose FBA. And simplifying, so transposing negative 0.3846 FBD and negative 4/3 FBA to the right, they become positive. So 0.3846 FBD plus 4/3 FBA then this remains negative 1962. Call that equation 1. And the last equation of static is summation forces y equals 0. So we have, for beginning with FBD, we have negative 0.9231 FBD. Then here we have negative 2/3 FBA. And here we have negative 2/3 FBC equals 0. So take note that FBA equals FBC. So I combine this and write in terms of FBA. So we have negative 0.9231 FBD minus 4/3 FBA equals 0. Call this equation 2. So solving equations 1 and 2 with the same unknowns FBD and FBA, we solve FBD equals 3,643 newtons, and FBA, which is equal to FBC, is negative 2522 newtons. So that means that indeed FBA and FBC are in compression as stated in the problem. So that's it for this problem. You just solve equations 1 and 2 using your calculator. So this is the second problem. The ends of the 3 cables are attached to a ring at A. This is this. And to the edge of the uniform plate. Determine the largest mass the plate can have if its cable can support a maximum tension of 15 kilonewtons. So the maximum tension that its cable can hold is 15 kilonewtons. So that means beyond that value, the cable breaks. So therefore, in our analysis, the one which is greatest in terms of the mass of the plate, the tension which is expressed in terms of the mass of the plate, and if it is the highest, should be the critical cable, and therefore we should equate that to 15 kilonewtons. So from there we can solve for the largest mass that the plate can have. So this is the free body diagram. Let's consider the lower part of this FBD. So this is the mass of the plate acting at the center of gravity of the plate. The plate is 12 meters by 12 meters. So naturally, this is the center of gravity. 6 meters, and this is also 6 meters. That's the center of gravity. So it is mg, where g is 9.81. So this is in newtons, and the unit here is in kilonewtons. So first, let's express its tension in terms in vector form and should be in kilonewtons. So let's assume that these are in kilonewtons. First, FBA. FBA is magnitude of FBA, which is that, times, so along X, it's, by the way, it's B to A direction is rightward, which is along Y, positive 6, backward, which is just 4, because this is already 2, and that is 6, so 4 meters. So along X, 4, negative 4, so negative 4I. Then along Z, positive 12, which is this 12 here. So therefore, FBA in vector form is magnitude of FBA, quantity negative 4I plus 6J plus 12K divided by square root of 4 squared plus 6 squared plus 12 squared. And that is, this is 14. So everything is divided by 14, since we can reduce this to, because 14 is 2 times 7. So we'll just make the denominator 7 and divide the numerator by 2. So we have FBA times quantity negative 2i plus 3j plus 6k kilonewtons. Then FCA, not AC, so FCA, so it is equal to quantity C to A. So another technique is to represent the point with coordinates. So this is 4, negative 6, 0, so that FBA is 0 minus 4, so negative 4i, 0 minus negative 6, so positive 6j, then 12 minus 0 is positive 12k. So that's it. So this is FBA or FAB, it's the same as long as it is tension force. FAC is also FCA, so it is, by the way, C is at negative 6, negative 4, because that's already 2, so 4 to the left, so negative 4, then 0 along Z. So 0 minus negative 6 is positive 6i, 0 minus negative 4, so 4j, 12 minus 0, so 12k. The distance is the same as this, square root of 6 squared, 4 squared, 12 squared, which is the same as that, so 14. And if we reduce it, so we have FCA or FAC over 7 quantity 3i plus 2j plus 6k. So that would also be in kilonewtons. Then FAD is the same as FBA, magnitude FBA, quantity D to A. So point B is at negative 4, because that's 4 backward. Then 6, because that's to the right 6. And 0, Z is 0 on the floor. So 0 minus negative 4 is 4i. 0 minus 6, negative 6j. 12 minus 0 is 12k. All over square root of 4 square, 6 square plus 12 square, so that's also 14. Simplifying, so FAD is also FDA, magnitude FAD, over 7 times 2i minus 3j plus 6k kilonewtons. Then the weight is negative m times 9.81, so that would be in newtons downward, so k divide by 1000 to be consistent with the units in kilonewtons. So that would be negative 0.00981 m k kilonewtons. So summation forces X equals 0. X component of AB is negative 2 over 7 FAB. Then X component of AC 3 over 7 positive. X component of AB 2 over 7 equals 0. Call that equation 1. Summation forces Y equals 0. We have 3 FAB over 7, then plus 2 FAC over 7, then negative 3 FAB over 7. The weight has no Y component, so equals 0, equation 2. Then summation forces along Z equals 0, 6 over 7 FAB plus 6 over 7 FAC, then 6 over 7 FAD, so positive plus negative 0.00981 m equals 0. So we transpose negative 0.00981 m to the right, so it becomes positive 0.00981 m, equation 3. Equation 1 may be written, the right side may be written 0m. The second equation will also be written in the right side 0m, and only the third equation in the right side has m. But these are also interpreted as 0n, 0n. So that's why the answer here using your calculator will be in terms of m. Solving using your calculator, we have FAB 0.005723 m, FAC 0, FAD 0.005723, and that means both AB and AD are equally in tension. That means that if you notice, these points B, A, D, and this point, the center of gravity, lie on the same vertical plane. That means that CD lies on a plane that is away or off of the planes of these points that I mentioned. So that's why the tension in AC is 0. Since AB and AD are equally stressed, therefore we equate either one of them to the capacity of the tension in the cable, which is 15 kilonewtons. So that is 0.005723 M equals 15. So M is 15 over 0.005723. So M therefore is 2621 kilograms. That's the largest mass that the plate can have, so that the cables will not break. Should there be a tension which is greater than this, for example, there's one that is 0.06 of M, since that is the tension that is highest in terms of M, then we should equate that tension equal to 15. But because these two are equal, then either of them should be equated to 15. So that's it for that problem. Then we have problem 3 here. Third problem. Suppose that you want to apply a 1000 force F at point A in a direction such that the resulting tensions in cables AB, AC, and AB are equal. Determine the components of F. So we don't know the direction of F, but its magnitude is 1000 pound force, which will cause the tensions in these three cables, AB, AC, and AD, to be equal. So we will represent the tension in each of these cables as T, because it is stated they are equal. Then the components of F would be in vector form: Fx, Fxi. F is equal to quantity Fxi plus Fyj plus Fjk. So we then apply equation of static, summation forces x equals 0. So Fx will be in terms of the magnitude T, Fy will be in terms of magnitude T, and Fz will be in terms of the magnitude T. Then we know that Fx squared plus Fy squared plus Fz squared, all expressed in terms of T, is equal to the magnitude of F squared, so 1000 squared. So only T will be the unknowns there. Then from there, we can now solve for the X, Y, and Z components of F. So first, let's express tension in AB in terms of, in vector form, in terms of the magnitude, which is T. Then that direction, TAB, is 6 minus 12, so negative 6i. 0 minus 4, negative 4j, 0 minus 2, negative 2k, all over square root of 6 squared plus 4 squared plus 2 squared, simplifying. So tension AB is T over square root of 14, quantity negative 3i minus 2j minus k, and that is in pounds. Tension AC, A to C, is 0 minus 12, negative 12i, 4 minus 4, so 0j, 6 minus 2, positive 4k, all over square root of 12 squared plus 4 squared. So it is T over square root of 10, quantity negative 3i plus k, also in pounds. Tension AD is 0 minus 12, so negative 12. Tension magnitude, then 0 minus 12, negative 12i. 6 minus 4 is 2j. 0 minus 2, negative 2k, over square root of 12 square plus 2 square plus 2 square. So that is 2 square root of 38, simplifying. Tension AD is magnitude of T over square root of 38 times quantity negative 6i plus j minus k pounds. We then reinforce equations of statics, summation forces x equals 0. So AB, the component of tension is x component of tension is negative 3 over square root of 14t. Then we have AC negative 3 over square root of 10t. Then for AD we have negative 6 over square root of 38t. Then plus the x component of the force equals 0. So Fx is 2.724 of t. Summation forces along y equals 0. Y component of AB is negative 2t over square root of 14. For AC, it's 0, so none. For AD, it's t over square root of 38. For AB, it's negative 2t over square root of 14. For AC, it's none. For AB, it is t over square root of 38 equals 0. Then plus Fy equals 0. So solving for t, so it is negative 2 over square root of 14. So 2 over square root of 14. Then plus minus 1 over square root of 38. So it is 0.73723 of t. So it is 0.73723 of t. Then for summation forces along Z, so we have for AB negative t over square root of 14. For AC, it is t over square root of 10. For AD, it is negative t over square root of 38 plus FZ equals 0. So combining 1 over square root of 14 plus 1 over square root of 38 after we transpose minus 1 over square root of 10. So it is 0.1133 of t for Fz. So take note that Fx squared plus Fy squared plus this is F in vector form, and Fx squared plus Fy squared plus Fz squared equals magnitude of F, which is 1000 squared. So substitute into this equation the value of Fx 2.724t quantity square plus 0.3723t quantity square plus 0.1133t quantity square equals 1000 square. Solving for tt is 0.363.4 pounds. Then summation forces x equals 0. Our Fx, the components would now be Fx2, this is Fx 2.724 of t, and t is 363.4, so 989.9 pounds. Fy is 0.3723 of t, 363.4, 135.3 pounds. And Fz, the z component of F, 0.1133 of 363.4, 41.17 pounds. So that's it for this problem. So let's have this last problem. which is a problem in the final exams during the summer statics class. So here is the problem. 4 balls of equal radii R form a pyramid supported by a smooth horizontal surface. The 3 lower balls are held together by an encircling string. So this is the string outside. As shown, determine the tensile force T in this string if the weight of each ball is 100 newtons and the surfaces of the balls are perfectly smooth. Neglect any initial tension that may be in the string before the top ball is placed upon the other 3. So we have these 3 lower balls which lie on the horizontal smooth plane or floor, and in order for them not to separate, we have a string here that bound them, encircling them. So the analysis is we first analyze this upper ball, and there will be 3 points of contact. The points of contact are symmetrical, therefore the angles that the reaction at those points of contact that make with the vertical would be equal. So this is the free body diagram of the upper ball. So that's the weight, which is denoted by W, which is equal to 100 newtons, and this is held in equilibrium because of the 3 contact points, and we will call the reaction would be R equal because of symmetry. So at the contact points. So it is here, if this is the one of the lower balls, then this is the upper ball, and this is the point of contact. The reaction there is R, which is perpendicular to the tangent to the point of contact, and it makes an angle with the vertical, which is common to all the 3 reactions. So we have 3 reactions here. The angle they make with the vertical line is denoted by theta as shown in the figure. Now, the analysis is this reaction passes through the center of the upper ball and passes through the center of the lower 3 balls. And the centers of the lower 3 balls will form we call this equilateral triangle of length 2R, 2R, and 2R, which is an equilateral triangle. And this is it, the lower triangle with dimensions 2R, 2R, and 2R. And for an equilateral triangle, the interior angle is 60 degrees. 60 degrees, and the angle there 60 degrees also. Then this vertical line, the line of action of the weight, passes through the centroid of this equilateral triangle. Now, by Pythagoras theorem, although you can also say that the height, the altitude of this equilateral triangle is hypotenuse 2r sine 60. Sine 60 is square root of 3 over 2. So therefore, it is square root of 3r, the height of the equilateral triangle. Or by Pythagoras theorem, square root of hypotenuse 2r square minus r square, because this is half of 2r. So it is also r square root of 3. Again, the other way is 2r sine of 60. It will give us the same value of r square root of 3. The centroid of the equilateral triangle from the vertex is 2/3 of the length of that height. So 2/3 of the height, and the height is r square root of 3. Therefore, it is 2r square root of 3 over 3. Then we can now compute this angle that each of the reactions R make with the vertical. And that is sine of theta equals opposite x, which is 2r square root of 3 over 3 divided by hypotenuse which is the length of this reaction R, which is center to center, center of the upper ball to center of the lower ball. So the length of that hypotenuse is also 2R. Again, if you analyze it from here, if this is the center of the upper sphere, the radius is R, then from this point of contact to the center of the lower sphere, that's also R. That's why the length of the hypotenuse is 2R. So sine of theta is opposite x over 2R. And that's why theta is 35.264 degrees. Therefore, summation forces vertical, or y equals 0, there are 3 equal reactions. So 3 times the vertical component of these reactions is r cosine of 35.264 degrees, and that is equated to W, or 100. I'll just call it W to generalize. So R is equal to 0.40825 W, or times 100, that's 40.825 newtons. Then we transmit that R to one of the lower spheres. So take note that the angle between these two tensions is 60 degrees because this is an equilateral triangle, and we can transfer the tension at the center of the lower sphere or lower ball, and the reasoning for that is this. So by principle of from axiom number 3 that you can add any number of sets of equilibrium forces without changing the effect of the original system. This is the original system, but we can add equilibrium forces at any point on the body. So let us say at the center, like that, parallel to this T here, horizontal. So that does not change the effect of the original system. Then, how about for equilibrium forces parallel to this inclined T here? So it does not affect also to the effect of the original system. Then later on, we define the two equal forces oppositely directed but not collinear in action as a couple. So this T here rightward and that T there rightward constitute a couple. We can remove them, replace that with a couple which is counterclockwise, and the magnitude is tension times R because the distance between them is R. And I replace that with this couple. The magnitude is PR, counterclockwise. So take note that these two tensions here are removed. So it's no longer part of the system. But this is now part of the system, this couple TR. Likewise, this T which is down to the left and that T which is up to the right can be removed and replace them with another couple, but this time the couple is clockwise. The magnitude is the same, PR. So this T and that T here are now removed in the system, leaving these two forces, T rightward and T up to the left, and the angle between them is 60 degrees. 60 degrees because that is an equilateral triangle. From here, this tension here is parallel to that side of the equilateral triangle. This horizontal tension here is parallel to that side of the equilateral triangle. The angle here is 60 degrees. And we can also remove these couples because they are equal in magnitude but oppositely directed. So that's why we can transmit the tensions at the center of the lower ball. So this is now the free body diagram. This is the center of the lower ball. These are now the tensions which make angles of 30 degrees with this axis of symmetry, x prime, because the line of action of this R here lies on the vertical plane and through this x prime axis, which cuts the two tensions here. If you look at it from the top, the point of contact would be that point which bisects that point to the center of the lower ball, that bisects the angle between these sides of the equilateral triangle, so 30 degrees each. And this is now the R. It is now transmitted to the lower ball. Then the weight of the lower ball is not presented here because it has no component along x prime axis. X prime is also a horizontal axis, and the weight of the ball is vertical, so it has no component along the x prime axis because it forms 90 degrees with the x prime axis. So these are the two tensions, equal tensions T, and the angle that they make with the x prime axis is 30 degrees, half of 60 degrees. And this R here passes through the center of the lower ball and through this x prime axis, and it bisects, or the plane of this reaction is on this plane, on the axis x prime and the vertical line. So we have summation forces x prime equals 0. There are two tensions, and the component of each tension is tension cosine 30 degrees, and times 2 equals the x prime component of R, which is in the opposite direction, and opposite of 35.264, therefore it is R, which is 0.40825 W, hypotenuse sine of 35.264. Solving for T, it is 0.1361 of W, and since W is 100, so therefore tension is 136.1 Newton. So that's it for this video.